Hey, hi everyone, welcome back. So, guys, as part of this particular session, we are going to talk about assertions. So, what exactly an assertion is? Ideally, see, after logging into an application, we need to cross check whether we have a successfully logged in or not. Probably you will be verifying welcome user or a logout button. Those things we are doing in assertions. So, assertions are mandatory for any kind of an automation testing tool. Once after we performed that particular operation, it's mandatory for us to perform that particular assertions. So definitely, whatever the code that we have prepared so far, it's a basic code. Moving further, it's mandatory for us to provide an assertion to that particular code. Upon clicking on a login button, check whether welcome user is populating or not. Just an example that I'm saying. So which is the kind of an assertion. After performing every action, maybe after opening an application, check the title is matching, check the URL is matching. These are the various assertions that we can perform. Okay, perfectly all right. And Playwright uses this expect library for testing these assertions. And in order to use this particular expect, it's mandatory for us to import it. Okay, perfectly all right. And a playwright does has a general assertion and as well as a locator assertion. So maybe a general assertion, an example is consider that there is a text that it is displaying on a browser for an object which is a button. Get that particular text, store it in a constant, and compare it, which itself is a general assertion. So we are not doing anything related to the locator. We have already stored that particular text into a variable, and you are comparing the data present in a variable with another variable, with one constant with another constant. That itself is a general assertion. Whereas the next assertion is a locator assertion. Ideally, these locator assertions will work on a particular element. Okay, will work on a particular element. Basically, this element should have this particular one. This element should have this particular chunk. All these things will be performed on that particular elements. Perfect. And the next and a most important thing that we need to consider about these assertions is a hard assertion and a soft assertion. By default, if something assertion is a failed, consider that you are expecting a submit button and that button is not displayed. If any assertion got a fail, then and there itself your execution will be stopped. That itself is a hard assertion. Whereas a soft assertion means basically that will not fail your test script. It will continue the script with the further steps execution. At the end, it will report that particular line as a failure. Okay, it will report that particular line as a failure. So what I'm gonna do right now here is I just created an assertion spec file where in which whatever the source demo login code is there, I just placed that piece of a code here. Okay, I just placed that piece of a code here. And now what I'm gonna do right now, for the time being, let me comment this stuff. Okay, for the time being, let me comment this stuff. Okay, let's have this particular one constant and maybe number value is equal to 10. So I'm just defining a 10 into that. So here we need to use a expect library. Of course, we need to use an expect library. This expect is working on a number value. This expect is working on a number value. I told you that whenever you are using this particular expect, it's mandatory for us to import it. So here I'm using except. Okay, perfectly all right. Except is declared as value and right. Import expect. Okay, so if it is not coming here, import expect from the playwright library. Okay, I just added it. So ideally it should show up whenever you have added a comma to, but that's fine as it is not showing it up also. That's fine. Okay, perfectly all right. So what we have done right now, we just imported this particular chunk. Okay, what we have done right now, we just imported this particular chunk right now. So what is the next step that you need to do here? This expect number value here 2. See here, whenever you type it as a 2, to be, which is a generic assertion, to be close, okay, which is a generic assertion, to be defined, to be falsy, to be greater than, to be less than, all these things are a general assertions itself. If you go back to the Playwright official documentation of that assertions, basically, so the list of assertions, what they have given here under this particular non-retry assertions, these are the generic assertions itself. The same are populated here. And right now, I'm using this is equal to 10. Okay, I'm just validating whether it is equal to 10 or not. Okay, and then at the end, await page dot close. Okay, I was just added page dot close. Okay, perfectly all right, good. So I have created this particular program. Let me try to run this particular program. I just ran this particular program. Of course, it is trying to perform the operation, and if you see here, one got a passed. Okay, one got a passed. Okay, perfectly all right. The script execution is successful, which means the assertion is a pass. What I'm doing here is wantedly I'm changing this value to 11, guys. Okay, wantedly I'm changing this value to 11. So whenever I hit this particular play button, the execution is happening. And if you see, as and when it encounter, it immediately reporting as a failure. So one thumb rule with the generic assertions is generic assertions will not wait for anything. Directly when that command populated, it will directly execute that. Whereas the locator assertions will wait for maximum of a 5 seconds to for that particular element. See here, the expected was 11 and the received was a 10. Okay, so fine. So this assertion, okay, this set of assertion, what I'm doing is I'm placing it at the starting line of my code itself. Okay, I'm placing it at the starting line of my code. So when I run it, see, as the assertion itself got a fail, okay, as the assertion itself got a fail, it doesn't proceed with the further execution. It doesn't even open that particular application, which is a hard assertion. But this assertion is a generic assertion. We are storing one value and you are trying to compare it with some other value. And another thing that you need to consider here is maybe this value that you are storing here, maybe you will be getting some value from the browser, and here you are gonna compare it with the desired value. Okay, with the desired value. That kind of an assertion itself is an generic assertions. Okay, that kind of an assertions itself is a generic assertions. Perfectly all right. Let me comment out this piece of a code. Okay, let me comment out this piece of a code. Copy this whole code again and put it back again. Okay, perfectly all right. Now, what are we gonna study right now? We are gonna study about the locator assertions. Okay, the locator assertions. So here, let's not consider about in the source demo the username field and a password field. Okay, so let me open the sourcedemo.com. As part of the source demo, I'm not considering about the username and a password field. The login button, this is having a text as a login. So here, what I'm gonna do right now here is page dot locator. So, but this one, if you remember, guys, we stored it in a constant login button locator is equal to. So this I have stored it in a constant basically. Now what we need to consider here is, so here await ex- expect. So this expect should be working on, okay, this expect should be working on, okay, this expect should be working on a login button locator. Okay, this expect should be working on a login button locator. Okay, perfectly all right. A login button locator. Okay, the spell mistake. Okay, expect. Okay, right. Yeah. So this expect is on a login button locator, and this two See here, guys, this time, whatever the locators that they are populating, these are not the generic locators. These locators, these assertions are a locator based assertions. And that too, what I'm doing right now here is to have, okay, to have text basically. Okay, I just want to have a text. What is the text that I want to compare with? Login. I'm going to compare it with the login. So this, after opening the application, check whether this is a login or not. Let me try to run this particular program. It's getting executed. The test is passed. For suppose if I change my text to Surendra, this button is of course not having a title, the text as a Surendra. Definitely, if you observe this time, the generic assertions, it doesn't wait it and it immediately thrown an exception. Whereas if you see the locator exceptions, it is waiting. The locator assertions are waiting for some time and then it thrown an exception. If you see basically the timed out over here is 5000 milliseconds, which is a 5 seconds. The expected you have a given is a Surendra, and I was able to find a login out over there. I was able to find the login out over there. Perfectly all right. So this is about a locator based exception, assertion and as well as a generic assertion. So there are a bunch more assertions are there that we will be looking at. We will continue this topic as part of the next session. Thank you.